decided to show up extra handsome today for, for our last class of this little session, I guess. Like hugely so grateful for everybody like still coming out and like showing interest in just like working with this stuff. And I guess like I just like kind of wondering if anyone has any questions from like the last couple of sessions.
Can we maybe just like review what we talked about, and that might jog everybody's memories a little bit? So we talked about like song structure, and we started with the blues, and like we broke that down as far as like the one, the 4, the 1, and that can also be referred to as like AABA. I don't know if we talked about that, but we will today. But just like a little review to see if anyone remembers anything they might have been wondering, or if you feel like there's something you really, really want to talk about today, and then we'll just make sure we get to that.
What did you guys do at the end? I left early, so I didn't get a chance to actually see what you guys did.
I think
So
sorry.
I was gonna say that we're gonna go over that because I loved what we did at the end. And I think a few people they left at the time that the thing was supposed to be over. So you didn't leave early, but I'd like to go over that. I'd like for Nick to go over that because it was so bomb. And then we'll get into the activities for today, which are related.
Right. We really did squeeze that all like into just the last little minutes there, eh? It's kind of funny to like not come up with we like talked a bunch about it today, like having a specific like plan of attack, because it's so fun to like fly by the seat of our pants, and I like loved everything that we got to cover last time, but it was like really like back end loaded with information. So funny. But so yeah, what we did was we were just like kind of working with this idea of form, like just this idea that there are basic forms, essentially kind of like basic forms you can't escape. Does anybody remember what I said that like essential and inescapable basic form was last time? You just have to say it in a way like an elementary school teacher.
It was just the AB inside of an A inside of a B inside of like, was it that thing?
I mean, that was like sort of like the most basic form that we came up with for sure. But like, do you remember what I said? Like the ground zero essential form of all time is like the inescapable form. Did we talk about that last time?
Yeah, beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, yeah. Everything starts, and then it's like what it is or whatever. The middle, the substance, and then the end. And even just like what happens when you start to be able to acknowledge the boundaries of something. How did that? I mean, it's actually so interesting with just listening to, and this kind of like brings us into the whole listening form, where like, can you hear the beginning, middle, and end of a sound? Like, what about the sound of a car driving by? When did it start? Like, when did you first start to hear the sound of that car driving by? If you stand outside, Scotia is a really good place to do this because it's not a lot of traffic. If there's no cars, stand on the side of the street and like see how far away you can hear the first car. And the longer you do it, you're like, the further away they seem and you can catch it. It's like the slightest sound can tell you that there's a car so far away. And then it like, that sound starts when you notice it. And then it like swells and picks up as the car comes and drives past you. But then like, how far can you hear it as it's going away, right? Like, and again, just because we're labeling this thing the beginning, middle, and end, the basic form, I'm like looking for the beginning, I'm looking for the middle, and I'm looking for the end of, say, any kind of sound. If I like drop a cup on the ground and it smashes, like what's the beginning, middle, and end of that sound? Did you notice how it started? Because also like just in the mathematical physical theory of sound, the very front end of a sound is called its transient, which is where all of its information is stored. So like the beginning of a sound is actually the most important, or like it actually carries so much more information in it in a particular way. So um yeah, that was kind of like just an introduction to this idea that if we can think about a way to look for forms in things that we're listening to, we can start to like minimize the complexity of them, especially when we know that everything starts, has a middle and end. And then like kind of that first basic form that we were looking at when, which is what Jessica brought up, spot on, was this idea that there's like A, so that there's like you can say something, you can repeat the thing you said, or then you can say something else. And like you almost kind of can't escape it. I don't know if anybody like since we went over talking about that, like I remember I hated AABA stuff when I was like in school and especially doing music because I was like, fuck that. There's no way stuff is this simple. This is an oversimplification. I'm bored, blah, blah, blah. AABA, no way. Uh, but Kirsten and I even too were just talking before this started, like looking at some nursery rhymes and being like, is that ABA? And like, just with this tool right now that I just gave you, like, does it repeat or does it change? If it changes, you give it a new letter. If it repeats, you use the same letter. Like, how much can you delineate out of anything that you're hearing? Using this kind of lettering system. So it can, there's like, and then what we find, which is really cool, is there's like a coarse detail. Like when I zoom out, I see like an A, a big A, another big A, B section, a B section, you know, a C section maybe. Then it's back to the A section. And, but then if I look inside the A section itself, I notice that there's like this thing that repeats, this thing that changes, you know? So then we notice I can break down the big A, B, A's into the smaller A, B, A's. And still what we're doing is like this really powerful music theory thing, but like you don't have to have any music theory to do it. You just have to ask yourself this basic question: is this part like the last part or like any other part? So even to, I don't know, I want to bring up this example because when we were talking about, was it Baba Black Sheep? Have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. One for the master, one for the maid. I don't know, what is this song about? Freaky.
The song's horrible, but yeah, go on.
Oh, no, I'm gonna take the song.
No,
The
it's
Twinkle Little
Twinkle
Star.
Twinkle. Yeah, that's what. But you can use Baba Black Sheep. It's fine.
Anyway, either way, I let, even though we just use the first 2 lines of Baba Black Sheep, right? Like Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. So like, is that does that change or does that stay the same? And it's kind of interesting too, because it's like if you look at that rhythmic cadence, or actually, wait, does anybody have a thought on
Yeah, were you gonna say something, Lily?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, that particular horrible rhyme that we're acknowledging is horrible, but gonna just use because we're already halfway through it, is for me, that's like an A, B, C, A. Baba Black Sheep having a well, yes, sir, 3 bags full. That's the A for me. One for the da 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 da, one for the da 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 da, and then Baba Black Sheep having a well, yes, sir, 3 bags full. So it's like, or but it could be ABA if that whole section is considered the middle. But I wanted to just also share that the context that this conversation came out of was like people asking, I think Nova, you had asked actually in the chat before you left, what are some ways to change up songwriting? That was the context that where Nick and Kirsten started sharing this, because it was like all these possibilities emerge when you're thinking in this way. It was really about possibility.
that? Yeah, and kind of how like dealing with infinite possibility is just kind of so tough because like what do you even do with that? But it's interesting too, because I mean, this is actually such a perfect example. This first two lines of this song is like, because I actually saw those first two lines as two A's. Blah, blah, black sheep, have you any wool is the first A. And then yes sir, 3 bags full is the second A, because they share the same like rhythmic metering. And then it goes to this B section, dun, 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 and then what happens? That happens again, dun, 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 and then it goes so convincingly back to the A, dun, 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 and then it pretty much does that. Dun, 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 dun. But those two A's are really interesting, because it's like I said, with the two A's, they can be the same but slightly different. And this is this really cool thing that we start to discover when we start to apply these letters onto things. Like, how much variation are we going to allow before we have to change the letter? And then these are kinds of the things that we end up really working with when we're working with like little pieces of a song, I guess. I know what the next thing we wanted to move on to was, but I still kind of really feel like, does anybody have any, like, did anybody try to use this form thing to like look at the forms of anything that they were looking at or anything like that?
I did
It's so-
with my songs and stuff like that too. And I write a little bit different than a regular like a singer does. So it's kind of difficult for me to kind of conceptualize this. I actually had to try to practice writing it properly. So it was a little more difficult because mine isn't straight up melodic off the top. So it's just a bunch of thoughts that I put together and then run with. And it just happens to end up being melodic.
That's it, but then there's ABA exists in what you're doing too, because when you get the big picture, you then can do it, or maybe it's ABBA or whatever your format is. So it's the sample Nick used is so simplistic,
Yeah.
but it can be embodied in this beautiful thing that you're doing too.
Yeah.
So
I
the
didn't
way-
realize I was doing it until afterwards, because a lot of things when I write, it's just I guess it's just a natural thing for me to just write in a certain format. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's like part of the real rub of this whole form thing is that we're not even really saying like you should do AABA or anything kind of like that, but that it's just a way to train your listening. And then if you free write, because again, like if you free write, nobody here is gonna write something that doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end. It's actually impossible. You can't do that. I'll challenge you. If you do it, I'll give you my saxophone.
Oh my God.
That's how confident I am in the
I was
eternal.
gonna say, like, see how Nick is illustrating how there's like the A section, the B section, the C, whatever section, and then you can zoom in on one section and you can create or find the AABA within that section. Then you could go to the A section there and you could make that an AABA. So I feel like if you think of that when it comes to your rapping, because I was actually thinking of you when we were talking about this, and I was saying, I think that if you do the opposite and you zoom out instead of in, you'll find the AABA. So it's like rhythmically, you can do AABA too. So if we're not talking chords and we're talking just like lyrics and rhythms, like your rhythm could be like da 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 do da 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 da. But then because you're a rapper, you're going into that section and you're like da 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 da, like, you know what I mean? So I'm saying if you zoom out and you like see the AABA within it, then maybe like just a simple stanza of one of your rap songs could be an entire sing song, because you're really just like zooming out and you're like pulling it apart, maybe a couple of words. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Cool. I think Jessica, you wanted to say something, did you?
Sorry, it wasn't responding there. I don't remember what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
Well, Nick had asked if anyone had tried to write anything using the form that we
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think my observation was exactly what you just were talking about, where you can parse anything apart into further bits. And I sort of got like caught up in that, how, you know, anything that's ABA, the A has another ABA in it, and then you can just keep getting smaller and smaller. And I sort of got overwhelmed by that. Where I think zooming out would do me more good, which is a perspective I hadn't thought of. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, it's so complex.
Yeah,
Complex.
so many different ways of looking at it.
Mhm. I had a question for Nick because he's a scientist, and I just have a question that's sort of unrelated. So I don't know if I'm gonna like waste time with this or not. But like, okay, so why? So when I hear a siren on the road, why does it change pitch as it gets further away?
It's really, really, really cool. I actually kind of wanted to bring this
You know
up
what I
when
mean, though, everyone? Like, do you notice that? It's like,
does anyone know what that's
why
called?
wouldn't it stay the same pitch when it's farther away?
Does anybody know what that's called?
It's the Doppler effect, isn't it?
Oh, $1 million question. The Jeopardy points are flowing. Yeah,
What is it
it's
called?
like straight up, it's called the Doppler effect.
Doppler. Okay, I'm gonna Google that.
Ryan, I don't mean to put you back in the hot seat, but I want to ask, do you know why it happens?
I'm not sure if I do, but if I were to make a guess, it's because the higher frequencies don't travel as far, so the tone shifts as it moves further away.
That's an extremely good guess, but the actual truth is so weirdly, goofily simplistic that I'm just going to tell you what it is. When the ambulance is driving towards you, it's pushing the wave, like sound waves in front of it together, right? Because it's driving to, it's because it's where you're standing, where the ambulance is making the sound waves are moving in front of it, right? But since the ambulance is driving, it's very literally air that the sound waves are in. And so the air, when you're like in a, I don't know, in a crowd and the crowd is pushing you. So when you're in front of the ambulance, you hear it higher frequency because it's pushing the waves together. And when the ambulance moves past you, the waves, because it's a continuum, if it's being pushed together here, it has to be pulled apart somewhere else so that there's still equivalence. So it's squished together at the front, pulled apart at the back, the Doppler effect. And it's actually just because of the air being compressed because of the speed of the ambulance.
Wow, you know everything.
At least if it has to do with, I can answer any question that has to do with sound now.
Yeah.
Because my professors were like, if you can't do this, we won't let you graduate from school.
Well, thank you for that. I've always wondered it, and like I thought it earlier on, and I was like, hey, I don't want to like cut into our time because that's kind of unrelated, but thank you for that.
Trying to quickly squeeze that back just into what we were talking about is, you know how Sam mentioned the word stress? I also kind of want to point out like just like an interesting scientific aspect of it. Does anyone know what sound is?
Vibrations.
Yeah.
You said that with your chest. Okay.
It's a full.
Do that one.
But like, okay, here's a weird way to put it. Like vibrations in anything.
Everything has a vibration, so it's the frequencies bouncing off of each other.
Yeah, but like, do you know what the vibration is moving through?
Next,
Through the air, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's moving through the air, but it's actually moving through all matter. So like, only thing that sound to move is any kind of elasticity. So the reason that sound actually works is because if you try to pull matter apart, it'll go like, no. Like if you try to pull the molecule, like not even just atoms apart, but if you just try to separate things that are close together, they'll like bounce back together, and then they'll create vibrations, and that's how they vibrate on the most microscopic level. But it's actually because of a balance between stress and strain in all solids, like liquids and gases, that vibrations can pass through like through any kind of matter. And it's like, so sound passes through rocks, through the wood, anything that you can touch, sound will absolutely pass through. And sound passes through all fluids. So all air, water. And it's like, actually in that way, really unbelievably, almost so beautifully concealed to this envelope that is our planet, like our whole soundscape. It's like, you can be sure it doesn't escape to space in that particular way. So it's really like, it's a really complicated shit.
That's so profound. And it's like, imagine knowing these things and then writing songs. You
And
know,
the
writing
one,
songs with certain intention and knowing that just simply like the sound of my voice is vibrating the matter around me, right? It's amazing. It's amazing. I love that.
so much of what you hear when you hear any sound is the sound of the room you're in. You don't understand it because you can't be in a dead room. But like, if you go into a very high quality recording studio, they have dead room vocal booths. And like, if you talk, it won't sound like the sound of your voice, because the sound of your voice is the sound of the room that you're in. It is like, to you. That's like how deeply connected you are to reality in this soundscape way. And then also too, one of the last things that I really want to pass on with this is just like to think about what we're doing when we're writing songs or participating with the sound thing is the wind, in terms of physics, like true physics, can't produce acoustic like radiation. It doesn't make sound waves. The wind is silent. The wind cannot make sound. It's actually the contact of the wind with the earth. So like, anytime that what you refer to as the sound of the wind is truly the sound of the earth. It's actually truly the sound of the moving fluid activating the earth, and that's what it actually sounds like. It's true. Inside
There's just poetry and everything.
my heart emoji.
Okay, activity time. So, what were we just talking about? The AABA format. So you use the example of Baba Black Sheep, but we'll do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star for this activity. So we really wanted to talk about like editing songs. And so it's like, you've written a song and you want to go in and like edit and change some stuff and whatever. So in order to get to that stage, we're going to do an activity and come up with some lyrics, some AABA form stuff, and put it all together. And then what we'll do is we'll also use the same melodies and chords as Twinkle Twinkle, right? Just because we're all going to be familiar with that. And then we'll like reharmonize it, and we'll show how you can change melodies, rhythms, chords to take something that is like the same old and make it into like your own original piece.
So okay, so Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, what's the form of that one, everybody? Does there actually, let me ask straight out, is there anybody who doesn't know what Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is? And it could make a lot of sense. No, everyone knows? Okay, so what's the form of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? Does anyone want to check?
I don't know anything about form. So, yes.
Is it ABA?
Yeah. Or sorry,
Or no?
no, Keela, awesome question.
Oh, sorry, Kayla, I didn't even hear you.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Like I completely missed last session. It's my fault, not yours.
No.
I'm
I mean, it was really just that thing that we were talking about before, this idea that if you could like break a song into letters, like A, A, or whatever. Yeah, that's what we keep calling. Like, what letters would you give Twinkle Twinkle Little Star?
okay.
AABA?
AABA, and then in the chat, Lily says ABA or AABBAA. Me, I would think AABBAA.
I think if you break it down into just one line each, it could be A, B, C, C, A, B. Because I'm not just trying to disagree, but because it's da 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 da, that's one line. The next one is da 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 da, same rhythm, different notes. And then the next two lines are the same rhythmically and melodically. Da 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 da. So that'd be C C and then A and B again. But that's just one line if you do it one line at a time.
Yeah, I get you. Does everyone know what she's saying? Because it's like, yeah.
You guys are
Yeah,
off.
No, can
You're
you
off.
break it down, please?
Sorry, break it down.
Yeah, because yeah.
Okay, so it's like we're asking if we can figure out the form of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Like, and there's really no, there's different ways to look at it. So that's what we're discussing. So like you have Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, how I wonder what you are. So when things change, we change the letter. So we could say, and we can decide how big or small the sections are too. Because we could go, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, A, right? Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky, B. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, another A. Or we could say, twinkle, twinkle, little star, A, how I wonder what you are, A. A. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky, BB, right?
Okay, so you're going line by line. Okay.
Yeah, line by line, or you could go like section by section, but we're just like trying to articulate the structure that we see in Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Okay, so.
And Jessica found another really cool one, which is like ABCCA, right? So it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is your A, How I Wonder What You Are is your B, Up Above the World So High is your C, Like a Diamond in the Sky is again C, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Oh, but then I got to end with AB. It'll be A, B, C, A, B.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, also too, like if I was gonna keep playing this game in this fashion, could I sit down and earnestly tell you I could find a form that was like A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? I could, probably. Like, because you can cut those sections into whatever size you want to for your usage, right? Because why are you trying to pull the form out of a song so you can copy it? Straight up. Like,
Does
so,
that same process still work for rap as well?
oh yeah. Oh, this you want to make some? Yo, go take Kendrick Lamar. AABCD Kendrick Lamar. Just do it. Like, see how he formulates his verses. And if you don't see a superstructure by doing that you did not notice before, I would be shocked, because there's simply no way that he could improvise the way that he does, the amount that he does rapping, if he wasn't seeing that big super. And again, if you look through the history of rap, it didn't start off with people being like over, or even like how trap is just this one beat. Rap music, it was so formulaic for decades. And because you needed people like KRS-One even to come along and invent shit that didn't, like, to bring material into it so that the shifts could happen. But the cool part about this AABA thing is, like, you could do it for Bach or Beethoven. You could do it for any of your own family's cultural music. it's just a way of looking, it's like it has no allegiance really, other than to whatever degree you're willing to see it. And so part of too what's really, really helpful is like being able to also try to see if you can come up with the most simple one you kind of can in a particular way, like that one that is ABA.
Right.
So when we see Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in that way, it like the complexity of it is just like
I think you froze,
No, go
Nick,
ahead, Kirsten.
and I said something, so I don't know if everyone heard what Nick said or not. Cool?
No, I didn't hear that last bit.
Yeah, because I cut in and said something.
Yeah, right. That last. Can we the
Can we
closed
rewind? We don't know. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We are going to rewrite Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, same melody, different lyrics. Okay, so some I guess like prompts could be, you could use any of the lyrical lines for Twinkle Twinkle as the first line. So you could say, how I wonder what you are, and then your own lyrics. But it's gonna be the same melody as Twinkle Twinkle. And no overthinking. We don't have to share everything afterwards if we're not comfortable. It's just the activity. What we're gonna do afterwards is take like our favorite line or something and compile them, and then we'll get into putting the structure of the song together. Cool?
Do we have to use any of the words from Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or just the melody?
We're gonna use the same melody and rhythm, but the lyrics can be all like totally different lyrics. It can be like, I would say, still subject wise, it would still be about the star though. If we can do that so that they can all come together and mesh in the end. But it could be anything about stars. It could be like, you could think way far out. Or the star could be a metaphor for someone you love or anything. We could maybe personify the star and maybe write from the star's perspective. But Twinkle Twinkle melody, and as far as the structure of the rhythm, the same rhythm. Does that sound doable to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we'll take 10 minutes to do it. Okay. So how's everybody doing? Okay, I see Ryan, you put yours, Jessica. Okay, so time is up. It's okay if you are not finished. But you know what? That would be cool if everybody could type, like, if you're comfortable typing everything in the chat, cool. If you just want to type one line from it in the chat, that's cool. Because what we're going to do is we're all going to come together and pick a line. And then we're going to have like a Twinkle Twinkle song with different lyrics. And then we'll move on to the chords.
Yes.
These are so good. Like, I originally wanted to like take a line from everybody's and then create a Twinkle Twinkle song and then reharmonize, restructure, and then we have a song. But like looking at everybody's, they're just so complete as is that. What do you say? What would you rather do?
Well, I guess
like
We can.
What I would be interested, I mean, is there anybody that would be willing to, how do I say, like, volunteer their song for the next portion of this evening's?
Go ahead, you can use mine.
I mean, I saw that Lily posted in here.
Yeah, Lily also said they can, so. I think once we do the activity, we'll see that like we could probably fit anyone's in. So.
Oh, or maybe actually, you know what we should do is everybody should use their own and do this little. Or remember what we did last time? How everybody had to pick somebody else's?
Ooh. what we're doing. Swap-o-rama.
Okay. So okay, so how this last time we were talking about how there's like you get an AABA and then you like peel your AAB apart and then you like fill in the rest of the AABA. Well, now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take somebody else's song that's there and you're gonna take their first line and that first line is gonna become you're gonna add you're gonna add 3 lines to each line. So where every person gave us 1 line, in the end we'll have like 16, right? So you'll take each AABA and AABA the AABAs.
I see what you're doing.
That might take a little bit too long. I'm just like wanting to be mindful of time. What do you think?
Right.
I
Wait.
think
Well, our idea was that we were gonna do it for one. So maybe we should actually let's just take Lily's song. Is this cool? Or what do you think?
just
And then we could do it all together.
time. Okay. So let's use Lily's. I'm trying to find it here. What we can do, Nick, is now we can reharmonize. We can show how like you can take the chords of Twinkle Twinkle and you can change them. What we're going to do, so this is Lily's here. Can I get this right somehow? So if this was Twinkle Twinkle, it would be, can I get this right somehow? Look, I'm trying, not in doubt. When I wake up, I am thrown. No way up, no way back home. Can you give me what I need? Universe says wait and see. That's so beautiful. So the chords for that would be what Nick will play. And so then we'll have like Twinkle Twinkle with these new lyrics. And then what we'll do is take Lily's lyrics and we'll edit them to make them more original. So there are different things that you look at when you're going to take lyrics. So this could be a song that you wrote based on like another song this way, or it could be a song you just have that you'd like to edit and change up and you're like, okay, this is kind of like tired. I want something a little bit more whatever. So we're just imagining that this is a song that you've written, right? You can look at the melodies and change them. You can also change the rhythms. Like rhythm, when you change the rhythm, it just changes the entire vibe in such a way that's like so effective. So we'll look at the melodies and then we'll look at the rhythms and then we'll look at the lyrics because sometimes getting rid of some lyrics and leaving space is really effective as well. But first, we'll just get Nick to play the original chords of Twinkle Twinkle. Okay.
You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, admittedly, like, I actually don't know how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but this is like a useful exercise, I guess, for a sec to just think about like how to do it. And so, like, how I would kind of go about this is like, does anybody remember that 1-4-5 thing we talked about? I'm pretty sure it was last week. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. At the end.
Yeah. So, like, you don't have to worry too much about that right now. Like, we won't like spend time trying to figure out this. But like for the key of C, the C is the root chord, and then the 4 is the F chord, the 5 is the G chord, and then the root again is the C. And so if the root is the C, which we're calling like the home place, then we have like 2 kinds of major changes that will take us back home. There's either I can go from the 4 to the 1, or I can go from the 5 to the 1. And so we hear this kind of happen in all kinds of music. Like those chord changes should feel like pretty darn familiar. And then if I was gonna go 1-4-1, it would be like. If I was gonna go 1-5-1, it would be like. And then so of all of those ones, where do we hear Twinkle Twinkle Little Star sitting? If this is the root. Twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are.
Hey Nick, it's
Yeah.
it's I know Twinkle Twinkle. It's basically C C B B A A G F F D D F F E E D D C.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so much better.
But like, did you see how like the part of it? I'm like almost a little less interested in trying to figure out the exact melody notes, but like, cause so watch what did you guys follow that 1-4-5 thing I did? Was that confusing or was that like less confusing?
That was very straightforward.
Okay, cool. Just because group teaching harmony shit is so weird. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, if I do harmony stuff with someone, I'm doing it like one-on-one and try not to lose anyone. So I don't know if but like, cool. Okay, I think we're all together. Just if anybody feels like they're falling behind, I would love it if you just like unmuted yourself and yelled. That would make me feel awesome. So, but anyway, back to it. So I found out that it was kind of like the 1-4-5 was how Twinkle Twinkle Little Star worked out. But if I didn't figure that out from the get-go, what if I thought it was something else? Well, what if I thought it was 4-1-5? I would go like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, how I wonder what you are. Like it doesn't sound right. And you can tell right away, right? And like so the most obvious one, what if I went 1-5? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Did that sound right? Did that feel right? Like the song, Not entirely, right? And so this cool little skill to have, because if you can just record C, F, and G on your instrument, you can you can try to sing the melody and figure out which of the 1-4-5 chords fit under it. And you can be sure that you can like plink out most songs by only knowing those 3 chords just because of the way that harmony works. And like the most basic part of that too, without having to know theory, is that if there's only 12 different notes and each chord has 3 notes in it, like there isn't an infinite number of different combinations. So 3 chords is kind of the one that it comes up really common. So the cool part there now too, which is that twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are. But for example, the 4 here is also called or the 2 is also known as the minor 4. So if I was going to try to like remake the chords for this, I could replace this chord with this chord and we'll see what happens. Like twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Yeah. So now that we like know the chords for Twinkle Twinkle, let's try and putting the lyrics to it and then editing the lyrics to make them more original. So can I like ask somebody if they like, if I were to say, okay, like switch these up, like what would you do? Is anyone comfortable to just like share what they might try to do to these lyrics?
I don't understand what do you mean about you want us to write the extra lines, the lyrics? No.
Oh, no. So in the chat, you'll see where everyone posted their lyrics, their new Twinkle Twinkle lyrics, and we're going to use Lily's. So it says, can I get this right somehow? That one.
Mhm.
If I were to say, okay, how would you switch these lyrics up so that they're not so twinkle twinkle and more something else? Like, what would you do first? Like, there's no wrong answer. Just curious to see like what people would naturally do first.
I would look and see where I could take out like I or can.
That's really cool. So let's.
Maybe
Can,
even like anywhere, like the can I's, look I'm, when I.
mm, okay. So can we do that? So what would you take out? Not just you, Lily, just anybody. What would you take out? Can I get this right somehow? Look, I'm trying, not endowed. How do we feel about that line?
You know, like, I guess kind of one of the questions that I have for Lily, like in this process as well, is like one of the things that I find to be really helpful in like finishing these song pieces is like being able to have an intention. And the intention is really cool because like you don't have to be explicit about your intention or like give that part of it away, but it's kind of just like the motor on the inside of the car, um, that like allows us to get from one part to the other. And so like I don't know, I'm asking like it's kind of a brutal question to ask you, Lily. But like if you could articulate your perhaps the like intention you were feeling behind this, what do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I don't think I was that deep, but I could definitely make something up right now around just like related to struggle and trust.
That's so cool. Okay, and also actually just another really amazing point that comes from this is like I love like we really weren't being that deep when we were generating these lyrics, right? And that was the helpful part. That's like what actually made us able to sit down and do it, because otherwise I really struggled to do this kind of thing because I'm always judging myself so much about whatever I pen. Um, but it's cool. So like we weren't working with an intention when we generated the material. So now we have the material to like work with and kind of save us here. Uh, and now we have the intention. Now we think like, okay, well, now that we got the hardest part out of the way, actually, which is like generating something to work with, what am I trying to say with this? So I think that's cool.
I think the amazing thing also is that when you asked Lily, they were like, oh, I really wasn't being that deep. It's crazy because I read it and I relate to this hard. So it's like, and you did this in 5 minutes. So that's the beauty of these exercises, just sitting and saying like, I'm going to write some words to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star really fast and not think about it. And then it comes out being something that I read and I don't hear twinkle twinkle when I read this. It's just like beautiful words. So like if we look at this and we say, can I get this right somehow? Look, I'm trying, not endowed. You can try so many things because there's copy and paste. So we have it. So I can like jack it up real bad and then go back to the original. So like, I'm going to try taking out somehow. Can I get this right? Question mark. Right? Look, I'm trying, not endowed. I like that.
I would have an issue with. Hold on. Okay, so I don't really make it a habit of going through other people's music and rhymes like that, so it's
But
kind of
it's
difficult for me.
good.
No, I know, and I get it's a class and all that stuff, but it's just, it's kind of difficult for me right now because it's, you know, she did work on it, and I don't want to be that person and impose.
I agree. Like, can I just like insert something here? Like, there's something when you're doing a lullaby, a nursery rhyme, where the lyrics in your mind should be simplistic. you know? And even though there might be depth and like deeper meaning behind the words, like it feels like we need to write the song for like the third grade.
So you feel like we want to simplify the words?
Want to simplify the words, not the meaning. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So how would we do that?
Also, just want to say that I fully consent to changing the purpose of the exercise. Just so you know.
I also want to ask for your consent.
All the ways, shapes, or forms for this purpose.
Okay, great. So yeah, what would we do? We're looking at it like, okay, a little too complicated, right? So we want to simplify it. So what would we get rid of that feels like it might be a little bit not as
may be a thing.
Say that again?
Endowed, the not endowed.
So maybe just get rid of not endowed.
I probably would have used a simpler term if we're doing it for like, say,
That's
it's for a
fine.
child or whatever. They most likely, like I know from my daughters, I would be like trying to say not endowed, and then it's gonna be, Daddy, what does not endowed mean?
That's fine. So our intention is
wordsmith.
We've
The
decided.
wordsmith is just I probably would just recreate the wording.
Well, we could, this is our song, so we can do whatever we want. So we can change the word to something else. We can take out endowed and we can say, look, I'm trying not. We could take out trying. We could say, look, I'm not. We can do anything we want. This is freedom. Yeah, anything. It's like, because once we start to edit, we can then be like, oh, the song means something totally different now. Right? Like we're not holding on too tightly to anything. So look, I'm trying, not endowed. So do we want to change endowed? Do we want to get rid of endowed? Do we want to move on to the next line? Oh, sorry.
Let me see.
But that's going to come down to the songwriter. Like, so you said endowed and it means something to this person. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, do they have another word that means same, like empowered or depowered or something can be everyday language, but like in this editing form, we still need to keep the authentic intention of the writer, you know?
Although that's actually,
it just depends. If you're the writer though, then you could do whatever you wanted. But in this case, I guess you're right, it's different.
Yeah. Like in the group editing process, how much weight do we give to the actual original intention of the author?
I would say, okay, a theater teacher told me when I was in high school, right? To never love anything you do that much. Because he said it won't grow. So it's our responsibility as writers and creators to make something and let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. So we should be able to, in a group writing together, we should be able to do anything to anything. We can always, and if we can't, if we don't like it, we can always change back. Sometimes once you change something, you can't even remember what it used to be. And if you can't remember what it used to be, then maybe it wasn't what it needed to be. Like I was writing Aaron Costello. I'd have these quotes in my mind that just play, but we were writing and I was like, oh, I can't remember that. She said it wasn't good enough and just moved on. And I was like, whoa. And she said, if you can't remember it, if you just thought of it and you can't remember it, it was not good enough. So it's like, yeah.
Saying right now is so golden. It's so golden. It's like that type of analysis is like it's like the death of creativity.
Yes.
So it's like there's like time for editing and it's not this time. It's not in the creation phase.
That's dope. Thank you.
So we just got to go with it. If we don't like endowed, it's gone. See ya. Bye, endowed.
Really cool. One thing I want to point out about the group, well, and then like just some like really amazing stuff about material that we have to start to like train ourselves to see. Like Lily did us the gracious favor of already being like, yo, I consent to doing this. Anybody could have picked their song. We picked mine. I said yes right away because I actually wanted to. And then still, we all as a group, myself included, feel that feeling of like, oh, but I don't want to hurt someone's feeling. And then it's like actually just this crazy projection, right? In this funny, because we all actually deal with how sensitive words are, because words have they mean so much. It's not a joke, you know. And but here we are playing with them, like it's like, but it's kind of interesting and like to give ourselves, to see what it could be like to give ourselves to like, or songwriting, I guess, is just a really amazing art form because it lets us sit with those complexities, you know, of like, how can we play with this language? You know, could Prince have written like all of these fantastic, goofy songs if if we weren't willing to look at them as material, as words, and just like, they're just words, right? On some other level beside their meaning. And we've already kind of discovered in some of these last exercises that like the meaning of the words is so fundamental that, or like our deep intention is so fundamental that even when we're writing about a grapefruit or a candle, it's like going to be that intention. And the one other thing too I want to quickly touch on was a thing about the artist's original intention. Like you so seriously could never know, even if the artist sat down and like talked to you about it for days, their intention. And like really kind of the cool thing that you will know is like you can work from your own intention too, right? And if we all have like different sort of intentions, but we're working with the same material, then there's actually like so many possibilities. Because you know what I think could be really cool to do with this, with that line, the well endowed line, is what if we got like, if everybody just in the next 10 seconds could just throw like come up with your with a replacement for that whole second line, just like come up with your keep
No,
the
no,
whole
What
stays
if
this
you change the attitude of these songs?
pardon.
Of the lines? What if you change the attitude? So basically,
Cool.
But he's like, that's good. Do that. Change it.
right. And so I'm just playing with it right now. So I was just gonna kind of give you my idea of what it could be.
Cool.
Can I get this right somehow? Look, I'm trained, but not right now. That change in attitude, like I'm trying to get it right, but it's not working out right now. Like,
Can you say that line again, please?
okay, can I get this right somehow? Look, I'm trained, but not right now. When I wake up, I am thrown. No way up, no way back home. That it's still the flow is still there, but the attitude is somewhat changed.
Yeah, it's like fully Bermudian right now. I love it.
So we took out somehow for can I get this right? So when we sing it, we're going to still think Twinkle Twinkle as far as melody, but when we don't have lyrics, we're just going to leave it blank, right? And then we're going to mess with the rhythm, right? 3 and can I get this right? Look, I'm trying, not right now. When I wake up, I am thrown. So when I wake up, I am thrown. What do we see about that? Do we want to mess with that?
No.
I am thrown.
And because it's a lead up to the home line.
Yeah, let's be creative. We can take out anything. We can take out I, we can take out wake, we can take out when.
I wake up, where's my throne?
Anything. Let's not even think about it. No thinking aloud. Just shout it out. When I wake up, I am thrown.
When I am up, I am thrown, maybe. I don't know.
That's nice. Anything else?
I would keep with the attitude, I guess. I'm stuck on this attitude thing right now. Sorry.
When I wake up, I am thrown. I would say,
when I wake up, where's my throne?
where's my throne?
But I mean, it's also kind of really interesting that you were like, yeah, I think I'm screwing up this attitude thing. But when you said it, Lili's immediate response was like, this is awesome.
This kind of when I wake up is going now.
And it's kind of just interesting, like what happened, like when we start to get into there's like words just as like literally Lego blocks. And then there's this whole thing that's like the icing on top of the Lego blocks, which is like meaning and stuff. And for this exercise, for the purpose of it, we're really trying to reduce our mental complexity level to just the block word part, you know? Because I secretly think the icing always takes care of itself, but that's like my feeling.
Right.
It's
So
interesting how this little exercise brings all the stuff into process. It's like we're literally just being asked to trust the process.
You're hired to come to all of the workshops we do so that you can do that. You're like our plant. Like you got all the lines perfect. Like amazing.
we had I am thrown. No way up, no way back home. Do we want to keep the whole line or do we want to simplify it? And I thought everyone could see it. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll open a Word document
And
share the Word document.
now
Okay, you got it? You can see my screen, my Word document?
We can see it.
Okay, great. Now, so now we have, can I get this right? Look, I'm trying. Not right now.
Are we missing something there? Like, what about like, can I get this right now? Look, I'm trying, not right now.
Oh yeah, wow, that was great.
Right now.
Yeah.
Look this right now. Look, I'm trying, not right now. Then
I
we
think
have, I wake up, I am thrown.
it needs another attitude shift now. Like Nova suggested, like, can I get this right now? No fuck, no way, no, not right now. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
But we're thinking about Twinkle Twinkle, but it's also okay to not have the same amount of syllables anymore once we edit too. So we're thinking about like rhythm and syllables, and we'll get to melodies later, but it's okay to say like, this, can I get this right now? It's okay to just say, can I get this right? Because then once we get into like changing up the melodies, we're going to see how it's a totally different song.
Yeah.
Right. So it's okay to not, so we're just editing and saying, well, I'd rather take out up, or I want to take out, see, I just put I am thrown instead of when I wake up, I am thrown.
Yeah. But I feel like if you start off like almost like a replica, but then you sort of divert from that and then you get into your own, it's cooler. So it's like you start off like, can I get this right now? Look, I'm trying, not right now. And then like, fuck, I'm thrown. Right? Like it's like the natural, like I'm changing. This is a metamorphosis from A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B shit.
Right.
I
So-
also like the double right because it gives like a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that. So no way up, no way back home. Do we like that? Do we want to change it? I really like this line.
No way up, no back home.
So we can take out syllables. We can have rests. We don't need to like da 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 da. It could be like
no way up, no back home.
No way up, no back home. Can you give me what I need? I like that.
No way up. One road home. I don't know.
Hey, Kirsten.
Way up, one road home. That's nice. Yes.
Let me go back to the second line.
Sure.
Just put an extra word in there with but
Okay.
after train.
But okay.
It changes the attitude.
Look, I'm trying, but not right now.
Fuck, I'm thrown.
I'm thrown. No way up, one road home. I like that. Can you give me what I need? Universe says wait and see.
Oh, also, here's a good. Oh, am I muted? No, I'm talking. You can hear. What? Uh, what else did the universe say?
Mm. Ooh, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but the universe could be asking, like, can I get the right now? Can I get this right now? I don't know.
Mm.
And where you're talking to the universe, look, I'm trying, but not right now.
Mm.
Universe says it's already done.
Yeah.
Get yourself right.
I don't know. It's like something you could see like right after that question, can you give me what I don't know, something like, can you give me love I bleed? Something like that. You know what I mean? It's something like the universe is demanding of you.
We got poets in the building. What is it? Can you give me blood I bleed? Is that what it?
Yeah.
Listen. I love that line. See, listen, when I write songs, once a line gives me that feeling, this is what I do.
Yeah.
I do. I'm like, you know what? I think she's an opener because I love that line. That's what I
Can
do.
you say that again, Kristen, what you just said?
Oh, I said when a line gives me that feeling because Keela just said, can you give me blood I bleed? I was like, whoa, I love that line. So when I love a line, I'll just put it at the beginning because I'm like, you know what? I want you to hear that first. I want the song to come on and I want you to hear, can you give me blood I bleed? Because I want people to ask themselves what?
Yeah.
And if you make people ask themselves what, then they listen for the answer. And that's like the beauty of writing songs. It's like something Nick said today. What'd you say? It was like that a song is like the answer to a question, and the best songs are when you never actually ask the question, but the song provides that answer. And it's like if a song can start and you heard like, can you give me blood I bleed? You're gonna listen because you're like, okay, what?
Yep.
Right? I love that. But then see, I would change the whole rhyme scheme after that. But this is just me. And for the sake of time, let's just man, but that line's heavy.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's a nice line. Okay, well how about that's the next verse.
Yeah.
Beginning of the next verse. And we can go twinkle twinkle with it again. Can you give me blood I bleed?
I have a weird ad, but I don't know if it multiverse says blend and be.
Ooh,
Are you kidding?
multiverse of blend and be. Listen, fire. This is what, like, okay, because we all know Twinkle Twinkle, it's making the lyrics flow because we're thinking in terms of twinkle. But when we go to, you'll see. You'll see. Okay. Can you give me blood? I bleed. Multiverse says blend and be. Ooh. Oh, I almost want to say this. I almost want to do this. Can you give me blood I bleed? Multiverse says blend and be. Can I get this? Can I get this
Right now.
right now?
Yeah, there's like a comma
Now.
after the first.
What'd you say, Nick?
Like a comma after the first right. Can I get this right?
Yeah, okay. There we go. Look, I'm trying, but not right now. That's just a suggestion, but we can go back.
Look, no way, no how.
Yeah.
Where was that?
I thought I liked your suggestion, but I also said, look, I'm trying, no way, no how.
Ah. So would it be like, look, I'm trying, no way, no how? Like that. Okay, I think let's get into like making this a song. So could you play the Twinkle Twinkle chords, and then we'll start to experiment with how to alter the melodies so they're no longer twinkle twinkly, but then you can keep remnants of it, because I mean, like, nobody owns the tone.
Yeah, and I mean, even to just to see how much picking something that was like maybe like really pedestrian or really simplistic or like really baby-ish kind of thing, but like something that you know can actually be like a springboard for generating so much good stuff. And then when you take it out of that direct context, like if it's just lyrics and we never knew that it was associated with that thing, like what are the different kinds of options we have?
I'm gonna keep sharing my screen actually, because yeah, for the lyrics, sorry. So with melodies, so my process is like, I would look at that first line, can I get this right now? I would sing it like Twinkle Twinkle. Can I get this right now? And then I want to mess with the rhythm a little bit. So you see how you're like 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I get this right now? I like to always try starting at a different time and just see how it feels. Like sing it the same way, but start at a different time. 3, 4, instead of can I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I get this right now? Just to see, right? Can I get this right now? Can I get it right now? Can I, like, I just mess with it and just feel something that I like. Does that make sense? Does anyone have suggestions?
Yeah, like, can I get this right now? Like a little pause in between.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like it's like tone. Like it's something that you would ask yourself in your head, you would never say out loud. So it'd be like, can I get this right now? Right? It's like completely off, right? Like you're just like, it's like you sing it in a tone and in a rhythm that's offbeat. Because it's like a question that you ask yourself. You're not, you would never say it out loud. Okay?
I like that.
It's right now.
Yeah.
Can I get it? Yes. Oh, so good. I wish we were in person. It'd be so much more fun to sing together, but it is what it is. Because I'm like tapping my pen, trying to keep like, come on, what is this? Okay, so so
It's almost like if he like came in and he was playing, he was just riffing, he was just like whatever, playing his chords, whatever chords he wants, and someone just is like, let me just come to my thought that I'm having, you know? Can I?
that's what I'm trying to get to. Like,
You're trying to find
What if you up the tempo?
Yeah.
Up the tempo. Ooh, up the tempo. See, I'm hearing it already. I'm hearing it almost like a rap, almost like
yeah,
like get this right now.
Yes.
Playing. Not right now.
Like,
no. Yeah, yeah. I'm vibing with that. But
I feel
now,
like instead of like increasing the tempo, it needs to slow down. Like I feel this is still melody.
You want to slow it.
Are you
Oh,
trained to
Nick
get it
wanted to mention something to everyone that I'll remind you of, but like the type beats, you wanted to mention, like if you type in YouTube, like Jill Scott type beats, you'll get like a ton of beats that are like that. So if you're hearing a vibe in your mind, then you just type like that vibe type beat, and then you'll have something to work with.
You guys know about this at all? Like, I don't know if anyone's tried it. I mean, it's cool because we're like getting a little bit close to our like end of session here, and it would be awesome to like. I would love to get some like just like see how if anyone has any questions about like kind of what we were working on today, and then more than anything, just because like we're gonna keep doing this, but maybe not right away again. So if anybody wants to reach out to Kirsten and I or about anything that we talked about anytime, I know that we're both cool. And but before we ended, I kind of just wanted to see if anybody needed some like stuff that they could work with. And one of the things that I've found in the last little while that is super helpful is this type beat thing. So like, who's an artist that we like? Can you just anybody list off anyone? More
I'm picking up type beats now. Like I just said, Jill
Procrastination
Scott.
is my
Oh Lord. Okay.
Same Bose.
Wait, sorry, who said that?
Keela, same Bose.
Wait, what? Can you pick like a super pop, or like I guess I forgot to add that part of it, but super popular artist.
Super popular.
Chaka Khan.
That's interesting. Let's see. Chaka Khan type beat.
Might be too intense, actually.
Yeah, no.
Intense for us.
Chaka Khan sample type beat. Okay, so I looked it up. But right now, look, I'm trying, not right now.
Maybe like a Bob Marley. What's a Bob Marley type beat?
Okay, let's look that up.
So for the sake of it, let's pick a beat and I'm going to like take our lyrics that we came up with and I'm just gonna mess with it and try to sing something over whatever beat. So
yeah, okay, so the older artists again aren't bringing up the best stuff, but I'm gonna go for something maybe.
Maybe wanted to slow it down, so that's why I said Jill Scott, because I knew there'd be like a vibe. What do you think of that?
That's nice.
Can I get this right now? Can I get this right now? Look, I'm trying, not right now. Look, I'm thrown. No way up one road. Can you give me what I need? Universe says wait and see. Boom. You see how that just like, you see? We're making songs.
You may have to write that one.
We're making songs.
That was nice.
Trust me, you may have to write that one.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
You like come twinkle, and I sang it twinkle twinkle vibes and melody, and it was like we were okay with it, right? But we could also change the melody a little bit.
How did you do that? Actually, no, straight. Okay, yeah, like, how did you do that? Can you tell everyone what you just did?
Another beat and see if twinkle twinkle melody. I think it's just like Jill Scott beats are very complementary to like so many melodies. So I feel like that's why it worked. But like another beat might not work with.
But I guess I mean like really functionally, like if anybody else in this group wanted to try to do what you just did, like what were you like? How did you like functionally? How did you just do that?
Like I think like practicing improvising, like just practicing improvising, and then like when you do that, when you start to just like sing anything and then like be okay with something sounding like shit and then thinking, okay, that didn't sound good, you also accidentally do things well and then you're like, oh, that was good, I'll remember that. And so then when it comes time to like sing, you have more confidence in like what's going to come out of your mouth, you know? I think just improvising, just like don't be afraid to just like try stuff and eventually you'll see what works and what doesn't. Or like even there's a line, the no way up, the fuck I'm thrown line. Like I thought to myself, oh, I don't know what melody to do here. So I just didn't do a melody and I just spoke the line. And it seemed like I meant it, but it was like kind of like a, oh, I don't know what to do here. So I'll just say it. Like, and it just ends up being okay. But you end up learning those things as you just try stuff maybe. Like, I don't really know. There might be a better answer than that.
I think it was It was
And
really
stuff
beautiful.
like that just comes with practice. And
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like it's like a
because it's the same with rap as well. I mean, when it comes to when I'm writing, I normally just run the beat for a long period of time and then see if I can come up with something
yeah.
that fits it. And it kind of defines how I'm gonna write and attack that song at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A tip
Mhm.
is like, okay, a thing that I would love for people to just remember about songwriting is that you don't need to know what your song's about before you write it, during the writing, and after the writing. And another thing for writing, just because we're running out of time, I just want to say all the things, but another thing, another tip that Nova had just said, yeah, like if you put your phone recorder on and you just go like, whatever, and listen back to it, you might find little nuggets of beauty, right? Like the best art is the art that just requires no thinking, when you just go like, just make noise and stuff. And then you listen to it and you'll go like, oh my God, I love that noise, that sound, that little riff, whatever I did, that's going to be my chorus. And then you just plop it in there and then you build around that, right? Like that's another amazing way to do it. It's almost like, it's like brainstorming. Like,
A question.
yeah.
I've tried this sort of improvisation. So I've looked for a beat, I've put a beat on, and then I just sang to what I felt. And it was wonderful. And I did find the nuggets. But my problem came from trying to reproduce what I did. Right. So it's like, okay, I did that. And then it was like, but what the fuck did I just do? Right. Like it was in the moment. And I don't know if I can like do that over and over and over again. Right. So it's a weird thing of like, creating the melody in your head and when you feel it, and then writing it down and choosing the notes and then reproducing it, or having someone else be able to read what you just did and sing it the way that that they feel good singing it. So that for me is like the complicated part of songwriting. It's like I can come up with the lyrics and I can come up with how I think it should sound in my head at this moment, but I'll never be able to do it again.
Yeah, hard, but you know what? Like singing and making music is a really spiritual practice. And like if we think about it that way, it's like we'll accept the fact that the sounds and things we make have lives. And like you do them and then they move on and they live. And sometimes you can't recreate them. Sometimes you can. Sometimes that is like a matter of practicing where you make the sound and then you keep practicing and then you're able to. But sometimes it's like that feeling like something happened in your soul and then you can't recreate it. And sometimes you're just not supposed to, and it sucks because you just want to redo it. But sometimes it's for that moment. Sometimes it's just for the moment. I know. Oh my
Can I
God.
ask a question?
Yeah.
Tequila? Keela, when you do that, right? Do you do that with a sound recorder and you're listening to the music at the same time and you still can't record it?
I record it. So like I'll have an app or something on my phone where it'll play a beat and then I can record it as it's playing the beat and then it throws it back to me as a whole song. So I'll do that, and it sounds great. So I'll take like bits and parts of it. Yeah. And then I'm like, that part I like, that part I like. And then when I try to like reproduce it and like sing it again on my own and try to get the melody to the beat again, I can't.
What if you used a different app, like Tully, for instance, Joyner Lucas's app?
Okay.
That has a little recording. It has the writing. I don't know if you can. Yeah, it has the writing portion in there, and then it has the beat, right? But it also has a recording section where you can do layers, right?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and if you record it, you can record it. And you said you already use it?
No, I haven't used that one. No, I was using. I don't even know what it was. Something I got for like free for 3 days.
Oh, geez. Tully is the app Joyner Lucas created or worked with to get done, and it does layers, right? And you can record and record and record, and if it, until you figure out your rhythm of what you were trying to do. I do it all the time, but I use the voice recorder and my little setup studio situation that I have here, And I sit here and I just rap at the thing until I get it, right? And sometimes what happens is when I'm doing it, I lose track of the when I start or when I kick in, and my timing is off. So I have to keep going back to it and keep trying to practice it over and over again. So it may just take practice for you. That's really it. And the perfect right amount of tools to do.
Yeah. And also vocal talent would help.
No, because you're trying to write, too.
That's good advice, but Justin, do you mind typing the name of the app in the chat?
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Kirsten, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Like when you talk about improvising, I'm wondering about the crossover. Like in dance, they say this thing a lot, like if you have to think it through, it's already gone.
Yeah.
Like in terms of, and is that similar, and can that cross over into music? Like as you practice improvising, is part of the practice being in the moment versus thinking it and then delivering it?
Yeah, I think when it comes to improvising, yeah, just being in the moment, but also like it doesn't hurt to yeah, I guess improvising is being in the moment. And then practicing could even be like sometimes I'll practice ad libs and I'll like do them over and over and over and over. And like I guess that wouldn't be improvising, but I mean, sometimes I'll listen back to something I improvised and try and repeat it so that I can add it to my vocabulary, like of things I know how to do. But yeah, I try to improvise and just be in the moment and not think too hard about it. But it is nerve-wracking to do in front of people. So like it takes practice.
I have also an amazing exercise, like specifically around.
Yeah, this is Nick's thing, like the improvising stuff, like that's your person for that.
One thing that I would say to try out too, especially when you're talking about like remembering stuff, like what you did or remembering how to do it, is to it's called like a hierarchy, I guess, of your own sounds. And here's how I would do it. Set yourself like a little timer to go off every 30 seconds or something like that. Every 30 seconds, make a different sound piece. Write a different poem, write a different thing. And when we're talking here, like this is stuff that you're writing to throw out, like don't get sensitive about any of this. Every 30 seconds, brand new. And so again, and if it was like improvising writing, you could do that. If it's improvising melodies, then improvise a new melody like every 15 seconds, maybe. And the only instruction you're giving yourself as you go from one to the next is, I want to make this next one as different from the last one as possible. And it doesn't even matter if you succeed or in any way or anything like that. It's just like, I'm going to do one. Now I'm going to do one that's completely different. Now I'm going to do one that's completely different from that. Now I'm going to do one that's completely different from that. And then when you're done, like doing like maybe 20 of those 15-second pieces, you pick adjectives and you assign them to all of the pieces that you did, right? And then you're like, okay, so this one I'm doing my like bibbity boppity boop thing. Here I do my thing where I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. And here I do my thing where I'm like, and you can, if you do this over a couple of months, you will exhaust all of your cool shit and you'll get to see it and you'll be like, oh, okay. So I only really have, and like when I did this, I kind of was like, yo, I only have like 3 different things I do.
Yeah.
I play like pretty notes. I play like, and I do like a growly kind of sound thing too. Those are like my things that I can do so good.
Yeah.
And how did I figure that out? Because I'm just doing it over and over and over and over and over again, not trying to even think about what it is. But then you look at all the ones that you've recorded and you're like, I always do this. This is my thing. And it's cool because at first you start off and you're like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. This is what, like, my habit. But once you start to realize that part of your habit is just like the shit that you're really, really, really good at, it's like, okay, well now like you take one of those things and you're like, can I divide this into 2 different groups? Like when I look at like the 15 pieces that fell underneath this one group, how are these 15 pieces different? And if you keep doing this too, you'll find all of your own vocabulary. They'll literally stare you right in the face. And
Yeah.
anybody can do this exercise, so it's really killer.
It's funny, like Nick, like some of the things you were talking about is sometimes just saying whatever it is that you feel. And Kirsten, you said this too. It's like just it doesn't matter if it's right, it doesn't matter if it's wrong, it doesn't matter if it's on time. You just like say whatever. And so like I think I was in the tub and I put this stupid app on. And so I did like one, I did like a trap song, and the other I did like a pop song, and the other I just did like a folk song. And they were ridiculous. But there were parts of each song that was like, oh my God, right? This is amazing. Like this could be on the radio right now, right? And it was just, and I said this to my kid, who's 22 and who's doing like audio engineering at NSCC, and he's like, Mom, your fucking flow is litty, you know? And I was like, what? Right? And he was just like, this is dope. I love it. It's sick. Oh, it's fire. You know, I was like, literally, no writing, no nothing. I said garbage. I think I was just like, use a, ooh, hey, ooh, yeah, right? And it just put a track into it the whole time. It was amazing. But I was using the concepts that you said that was like, the thing that made me sing and made me like sing like a fool was like not feeling like anything that I said would be foolish. Everything was valid.
No lie, I'm riding down the street every single day doing the exact same thing, and I'm on a bike and look real crazy doing that.
I do.
But it comes up, it helps with coming up with new words and things like that, because as I'm riding, I see street signs and things like that, right? It makes it easy for me to come up with it's blinding to the average guy. See, I'm sick and flip, and ain't nobody sick as this, and yeah, that type of thing. But I do that regularly to make me kind of get more and more creative, and it helps with your writing. So it helps me write faster because of that. I told you guys earlier I have ADHD, and so I forget what I'm doing, and then a bird comes, and then life is going.
I'm the same, but I love what you said, Keela, about the ability to just write those songs came from not thinking that what you were going to say would be trash. Like knowing that it's going to be cool because it's just words. Like I'm cool, everything I do is cool, and it's just going to be good. Here's an exercise for you though that I want to mention. Find like I would say this is like a vocal thing. Find an artist that you sound nothing like. So just like hearing you speak, I could say like Amy Winehouse, someone like that. And mimic. Like you'll feel crazy, but just mimic, and that'll add to your vocabulary. Like it'll make you like, oh, I'm singing this song, I could pull out some Amy, or like I could pull out some Ella Fitzgerald. Like and you'll notice little things. Like once I started to do this, I could see that there's little slight things. Like Ella, she's always like her vibrato, right? And so now if I'm singing and I just think that little flavor would be good, I can add that.
Yeah.
So so that's kind of the exercise that you could do.
The thing that I learned most from this workshop was that you don't have to be a good singer to be a songwriter, you know, and that was interesting to me, because that was the biggest fear that I ever had was I don't sound like this, right? But I have some unique parts of my thoughts, right? Oh, this would sound good here. Or if I just like do a right here, this would sound dope, right? But it's like, there's a thing where it's like, I was always writing for artists that were already established, but I was never writing for me, you know? And like, or I was never writing, as Lily said, I was never writing as a gift for other artists to take, right? And to have and to sing. So it's like that, this workshop has really taught me that part where it's like, I need to release my art, you know, and then the art lives.
Yes.
I need to give birth to it. I need to give birth.
What you just said gave me goosebumps. Oh no, it's just so beautiful. I'm happy that you took something valuable from all of this, and like I'm so grateful. I can speak for both of us. Like we're just so grateful that everybody attended, and that you were like, you came with offerings of yourself, and you like enriched us a lot. After every workshop, we're like on the phone screaming, about stuff. Like after this, we're gonna like holler. This is what we do after because we just get so excited.
I'm gonna send you a trap song and then you can really scream. You're gonna love it.
Okay, yes, I would love to hear. Also, like, look at this. These lyrics we wrote. Like now we have this song that we can take these lyrics and we can put them over any beat or anything. We can sing them and we can drop some out and you know, you can improvise with this. You can put on a beat and just like flow through it and eventually there's your song. But we wrote this from Twinkle Twinkle.
Saw what you guys did. Can you sing what did you guys sing it or how did you I know you reworked the lyrics I saw. Just wondering if you jammed on it or what I missed because I have FOMO. But
I won't sing it the same, but let's Can I get this right now? Look, I'm trying, but not right now. Fuck, sorry. Can I get this right now? Look, I'm trying, but not right now. Fuck, I'm trying. No way up, no. One road home. Can you give me what I need? Universe says wait and see. And that's as far as we went.
wow. What? Oh my God. Is that the Twinkle Twinkle?
Right? Like it's like a real song, guys.
Is that the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? Did you keep the melody kind of, or is it completely new? I can't even tell anymore. Is that what?
It's the same melody.
No.
Yes.
Little star, how I wonder what you are. And then I just said like the fuck I'm grown, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
And then no way up, one road home. Can you give me what I need? Yeah, it's the same melody with a little swing, right?
That is freaking fire. Oh my
It is.
God.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm coming up with raps were sick.
Ooh, can we hear it?
No.
Okay. Listen, I want to hear it. You can't resist. You'll be WhatsApping me whatever you come up with.
I will.
You
Definitely.
can't resist. You can't hold back.
What is the name of that beat?
I'm sending it in the chat right now for everybody.
And just to see again too, like these are the kinds of ways that you can just take like really simple little elements, make shit make it easy on yourself. Make it as easy as you can, write your little thing, and then make it complicated later. But you'll just probably discover you don't need to.
Yeah, you don't need to. You could, yeah. I would love to, yeah. Oh my goodness. I want to try Mary Had a Little Rain.
Well, we'll do this again probably very soon, and we'll keep you guys all posted. I'm sure we have everyone's email addresses, so expect some.
We wanted to talk to you about whole sound and what it is. I know it's like the time is kind of up, but
send everybody.
Whole Sound is an initiative that Nick and I started. It's basically like an artist development program. We have like a proper write-up, and I don't know where it is. Can you find it, Nick?
Yes.
Thank you. I don't know where it is. Yeah, it's an initiative that we started in response to what we felt we need and what we wish everyone had. A support system for artists to develop in safe, comfortable spaces where the entire artist is kept at the center, not just the music, not just what we can produce, like where we're not only extracting from the community, but giving back in. Because like music is a thing. We don't want to just like, we don't want to look at the music community and take. We want to give back in. We want it to be sustainable. We want to take care of the artists and take care of their minds and their spirits, their souls and everything so that the music they produce is well-rounded. I think I kind of said it, but.
Oh, were you reading from the paper? That was like word for word. What was that?
Really?
Yeah, I can't find it yet, but it was like you did it.
But yeah, it's what we're doing. And thank you so much for attending our first series of workshops. And there will be more stuff. And we're very grateful for you because this is like, yeah, it's affirming of what we believe in and what we want to do. And
Thank you so much also to, yeah, Kirsten and Nick for like facilitating this, but also just like being down to figure this out and dive into it. Cause yeah, and like me and Nick had like what was it? It was like a 3-4 hour long Zoom call a few months back, like just talking about the history of music and things. Yeah, I'm so excited that this is where what I'm getting to witness after those conversations. And yeah, so proud. Holy shit. Yeah, just want to get more monies to keep doing these. And thank you again so much. And all of like everybody for participating and being like vulnerable also and willing to share. Yeah, because I think that also is like just what's made these workshops what they are for sure.
yeah, thank you so much, Bria.